Dan Dickau here for Gonzaga Nation SI on the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. After getting a couple questions asking me to go a little bit more in depth on the two future Gonzaga commits, one being Dusty Stromer out of the LA area, who will be a high school senior next year, as well as current commit out of the transfer portal from LSU, originally from Virginia, Efton Reid. I thought I'd go back and kind of watch a little bit more game film on each of them, share a little bit more of my thoughts and where their opportunities may lie within Gonzaga's system. And so wanted to take a quick look at Efton Reid first. Went back and watched some of his high school clips, both high school games, as well as, on the AAU circuit with the EYBL. I think it's important to look at both, because at the high school level, typically it's going to be more of an organized, structured game. There may be better game planning for a legitimate player on the other team. And that being the case, Efton Reid was a tremendous high school player that teams would game plan for. You would see occasional double teams. You would see dig downs on the post where they would show double teams but not fully commit. And then in the EYBL, you have more talent and it's a little bit more of a free-flowing game. You're going to play against more size, typically more athleticism, more length. And so in looking at clips of both him in the AAU circuit as well as in high school, you can kind of get a good feel for his athleticism, how that's going to translate, but also with his skill set. So again, in going back and look at this, I think he's a tremendous get for Gonzaga. He was the top 20. I've seen it anywhere from 19 to 24 rated player in his high school class coming out. He was being recruited by some tremendous schools. Some of his finalists before he committed to and went to LSU for his freshman season, talking about Louisville, Michigan, Georgetown. I know they're not great, but when you have a tremendous former player himself who played the center position in Patrick Ewing recruiting you, he's got to see something in you. So Georgetown was a finalist, Virginia and Kansas. So, you're looking at the caliber of schools that are recruiting him, and then now he's at Gonzaga. So you feel very comfortable in knowing that the talent level is going to fit. But going back to looking at the game film, he is, in my opinion, a very skilled big man. He can score it on either block. He can score it with either hand and go over either shoulder. And I look at the fact that usually when he goes left shoulder, it's a jump hook. Usually when he goes right shoulder, it's a drop step to a finish with the right hand. Although there were many times that I saw in game clips, you would see him go right shoulder, left hand jump hook. And I think that's important in the fact that he has the ability to finish in different ways around the rim. I think he has good footwork, but Gonzaga fans have been spoiled with footwork the last 3 years with Drew Timme. So I don't think you're going to see Drew Timme-like footwork, but I think what you're going to see is very solid and a very fundamental base of his footwork, allowing him to create angles, whether it's in deep post-up situations, whether it's, duck-ins from weak side to the middle of the paint. I really liked what I saw when I saw that. I thought he was really good at creating contact and getting that seal. The other thing I think this leads me to think that Gonzaga, when they're looking at how he would fit, and Gonzaga's staff does such a good job of looking at how guys are going to fit as opposed to what do they see with a current player. Obviously, he's got to be skilled. He's got to, check all the boxes, but they look at what attributes do they see that maybe others don't, that fits their style. And Gonzaga has been tremendous high-low action ever since you could go back to Dan Monson before Coach Few. They were focused on high-low actions. They've gotten away from it at times, but it has always been a piece of their offense, and it's been a staple with Drew Timme in particular over the last couple of years. But Shemet Karnowski was great at it. Killian Tilly was great. High-low pass. The big doesn't close out. He's willing to shoot it. He's able to shoot it. So what I see is the ability for high-low action to be tremendous with Efton Reid. I think that's something that is definitely was definitely looked at, considered, and I really like what he can provide in that type of look on the offensive end. Now, you see some of the comments, or maybe not necessarily comments, but you see some of the write-ups on the skill set. He can shoot it out to three. Yeah, he can shoot it out to three. Occasionally there will be a pick and pop where, he catches it 17 feet and he catches and shoots, depending on space and depending on angles on the floor that it occurs. Yeah, he could step that out to the 3-point line. I saw a number of trail threes that were made in the highlights that I watched, but I don't think that's going to be an enormous part of his game. I think he's got a good fundamental base on his shot. His footwork into his jump shot looks good, but it's kind of a slower, deliberate motion. And I don't mean it in any way that it's slow and he's not able to shoot it. It's just, he doesn't take contested threes, I think is a great way to put it. He understands spacing on it. He's open. He's going to take his time and shoot it on his terms. And I think that's important for bigs who are a good enough shooter and have just enough freedom to shoot it, is to shoot it on your terms. Too many times you'll see guys that, they're hunting and searching that shot when, as opposed to just letting it occur and present itself in free flowing offense. So that's kind of some of the things that I saw when I looked at the high school clips. I think he's tremendous addition to Gonzaga. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he fits. But when I look at some of the college highlights, both watching little stretches of games, as well as some of the packaged highlights that you see after certain games, or once he entered the transfer portal, some others put together packages hoping that their programs would go after him. I saw a young player that flashed big time potential at times. And, not every freshman figures it out. There's been freshmen at Gonzaga that haven't figured it out as freshmen. By their sophomore, junior years, they're tremendous. They're a rotational player. They're all league level type of players. And that's the beautiful thing. Gonzaga allows you to develop at your own pace, as long as you're putting in all the effort, all the work, and you're buying into what they're working on. And all indications show that he will be that kind of guy where he will adjust and he will put together a nice career here at Gonzaga. But a couple things to look at when you really watch, if you look at his stats, you look at the game logs and how it breaks out, and then you look at game film, is LSU, they were 22-12 on the season. They were 12-1 at one point. So really they were a dysfunctional team down the stretch of the year. You had the emergence of a guy like Tari Eason, who is very skilled and talented, but he wants the ball in his hands a lot of times. They had other guys, Xavier Pinson as a point guard. I don't think he necessarily ran the show to get everybody involved. He seemed to me to be at times one of those point guards that holds the ball until it's a assist opportunity. I mean, he averaged nearly 5 assists a game in the SEC, which is pretty good. But their offense didn't flow with a lot of continuity. There wasn't a lot of pace and space to it. Seemed really choppy at times. And sometimes in those type of settings, young bigs get lost. And I think that a lot of his lack of numbers down the stretch of the season can be attributed to that, because he did have 7 double-figure scoring games last season for LSU, but 6 of those 7 double-figure scoring games came early in the season when LSU was playing good basketball. And as I mentioned, they were a dysfunctional team down the stretch. You had guys looking for themselves and their opportunities after their names kind of hit that NBA draft buzz a little bit. You had the questions swirling around Will Wade, which has been going on at LSU for a number of years before he was let go right before the NCAA tournament. So, for a freshman to come in to a setting like that, it can be overwhelming. It can be difficult, but that's in the past for Efton Reid. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does here at Gonzaga, because I think he's a great fit. I'm looking forward to seeing how he pairs with the current front court as it stands with Caden Perry and Ben Gregg. And we are still waiting to find out if Drew Timme will return, because there is still that chance that he returns. Not certain one way or the other, I would believe he is leaning towards the draft, but I think there's lots of thoughts and reasons why he still may come back. So appreciate a lot of the comments, a lot of the interest in that first video in Dusty Stromer and Efton Reid for Gonzaga Nation SI. I just thought I'd break it down a little bit more after watching some more of the game film. We're going to include on the bottom some links to watch some of these videos that I watched. So check it out. Like, subscribe, review Gonzaga Nation SI on all the major platforms. Take care and make it a great day.